Hello fellow YouTubians and Happy New Year's Eve! Now, you may or may not know, but last year I made a video where I made a review of my 2021, and the basis for that video was an exercise I found on Facebook which said, at the end of each week, write down a good thing that happened to you, put it in a jar, and at the end of the year, you read about the good year you've had. Well, I did that same exercise again this year, and now I am here to present to you my top 10 events of 2022. Number 10. Completed my New Year's resolution. On New Year's Eve of 2021, I made a New Year's resolution to watch all of the Wes Anderson movies I have not seen yet, which at that time was 9 out of 10, because the only one I've ever seen was Fantastic Mr. Fox. So throughout the year, I've managed to watch the remaining 9 movies. A bunch of them I liked, a couple of them I'm neutral about, and another couple made my brain go, what? But nevertheless, I enjoyed watching his movies. I love his style, with the symmetry and the panning shots and the slow motion. That's really what makes his movies so unique, and that's one of the things I enjoy about him. Number 9. Met Drew Hocevar. Now, you may not be familiar with that name, but I'm sure a lot of you out there are familiar with a movie called A Christmas Story. You know that Santa Mountain scene at the mall? And at the top of the mountain, there's Santa Claus, and accompanying him is an angry elf employee. The actor who played that elf employee was Drew Hocevar, and oddly enough, he just happened to be stopping by when I was working at Castle Noel. Apparently he's good friends with the owner, Mark Claus, and I was one of the lucky team members there that day to get pushed down the Santa Mountain slide by him. I got a picture of me going down the slide with him right behind. He signed it, and now that picture is hanging in my own little Hall of Fame I have, amongst all the other photo ops and autographs I've collected. Number 8. Bear in the Big Blue House was released on Disney+. This is one of the shows I remember the most from when I was little. And now that it's on Disney+, I really looked forward, as an uncle, to introduce that show to my little niece, Penny. Number 7. Okay, here's the scene. It's Halloween weekend, I just got home from work, and I'm really looking forward to making the necessary preparations to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood. And what should arrive in the mail that day? Then this. Number 7. I got an autographed picture of Steve Burns, the original host of Blue's Clues. This is a little something I got for myself from a site of magic and miracles known as GalaxyCon Virtual. And what makes this extra special is that I had it personalized with my name and a quote. It reads, "To Tanner, thanks again for all your help. Steve." For those of you who don't know, that's the very quote Steve said to the audience right before he left for college. And now, this little gem hangs in my aforementioned Hall of Fame. And also, thanks to GalaxyCon Virtual, there will be other names gracing my hall at some time. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Number 6. My twin sister Skylar got engaged. She and her fiancé Alex are planning to have the wedding in August of the new year. Oh, and in case I forgot to mention this, I'm a bridesman. I don't know exactly what it is I'm supposed to do, but I'm looking forward to it. Number 5. I got to see one of my favorite comedians, Jeff Dunham, perform live on stage. Twice. The first time was in February in Toledo. My mom and I had booked a hotel room so we could go to the venue, come back, sleep, and head for home the following day. And I got a couple pieces of sweet merch there, like this t-shirt and this life-size cardboard standee of my favorite character, Peanut. The second time, I was flying solo to the Akron Civic Theater in July. I mean, sure, I got to stand in a line that extended outside the theater, and it took me about 40 minutes to get out of the parking garage that night. But the fact that I got to see him twice this year, and I got some more pieces of sweet merch, made it all worth it. I even got a little something from my mother. This plush Jose Jalapeno Anistique. He's her favorite. And speaking of seeing people perform live, number 4. I got to see one of my musical heroes, Weird Al Yankovic, perform live on stage. also twice. The first time was in May. My mom and I went to see him in Canton, and I got some sick merch, like this t-shirt, and this Weird Al themed Hawaiian shirt. And the second time, my mom and I saw him at the Goodyear Theater in Akron, where I got a few other pieces of sick merch. That's really one of the greatest highlights of my year, getting to see two of my favorite performers twice each in the same year. How often does one do that? Number 3. I acquired a job at Cinemark. Alright, here's a little context. It's early June, and I applied for a job at 2 different Cinemark locations, one in Cuyahoga Falls and one in Macedonia. I was then called up for an interview at both locations on the same day. So I went to one, then I went to the other. Some time passes, and I was ultimately brought on board at the Macedonia location, where I started training as an usher. Oh, and on a different but related note, I want to take this moment to apologize for not posting videos as often as I used to. It's just that since I began working at Cinemark, I've been a lot more busier. I hope you can understand that. Good? Okay, back to it. Overall, it's not a bad job. I mean, there's career growth opportunities, the schedules are flexible, team members get half-off concessions, and we get free movies. Which is a perk that I didn't use at first because I didn't understand how exactly it worked. After I grew more familiar with it, I used it to my advantage, and greatly so. I saw some great movies this year. First it was Minions: The Rise of Gru, which was quite funny and very energetic. Then there was Elvis, which was entertaining yet very poignant. I really liked it. Then it was DC League of Super Pets, fun and action-packed. Then I saw my first Fathom event, Clerks 3. And to those of you who are asking me if this movie was worth watching, if it's entertaining and hilarious, to that I say, snoogans. Then I saw See How They Run, a murder mystery comedy movie. Now I like a good murder mystery, and what's interesting about this movie is that it pokes fun at a lot of murder mystery tropes, and I can't really explain it, but it's pretty Wes Anderson-esque, if that's something I can say. But overall, it was a good time. Then, on Halloween weekend this year, team members and guests got a chance to go in costume to the Cinemark. I graciously took them up on that offer, and I saw Lyle Lyle Crocodile, which was amazing. It was a real treat. I just want to put that out there. And also, The Bad Guys, which was an animated movie the likes of which I have never seen before, but it was really great. And most recently, around this holiday season, I got to see Spirited, with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. It's like a modern retelling of A Christmas Story, but from the point of view of the ghosts. And all I'm gonna say is, after I saw that movie, I can't remember the last time I was in such a good mood. Oh, and tell me, has this ever happened to you? You're going to a movie theater to see a movie, and when you get there, once it starts, you find that you're the only person in that auditorium. So you have the whole movie to yourself. Doesn't it feel awesome? Before this year, that kind of phenomenon's only happened to me twice in my life. The first time was when I saw Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Road Trip in theaters, like the 3rd time. And the second time it's happened to me is one of the 7 times I saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie in 2020. Well, this year, this sort of thing has happened to me again. Twice. The first time was when I saw See How They Run, and the second time was The Bad Guys. So those are the 3rd and 4th times that's happened to me. Doesn't it feel great? Let me know in the comments below if that's ever happened to you. Number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, after I saw Sonic the Hedgehog in 2020, I could not wait for the next movie. I mean, the mid-credit scene of the first movie, they set up the sequel so brilliantly. I couldn't imagine what was going to happen. And I loved the second movie so much, I wound up breaking my personal record of number of times I've watched a movie while it was in theaters. See, I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 11 times in theaters. It was that good. And before I get to my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. I watched Blue's Big City Adventure. The songs are just amazing, and it was really fun to see all three hosts, past and present, get together for this feature-length extravaganza. There was National Blame Someone Else Day. There was the night we had my mom's birthday dinner at this seafood restaurant called Pickle Bill's in Grand River, Ohio. If you haven't been there yet, I highly recommend it. Oh, there was a time I tried Wendy's all-new Italian mozzarella chicken sandwich. Yum! Before I continue, I want to take a little moment of silence for all my favorite people out there that we've lost in 2022. Thank you. And finally, the number one event of my 2022 is Sci-Fi ValleyCon 2022. This was my second outing to Altoona, Pennsylvania, and this time I brought my mother along for the ride so she can witness the magic. I was really excited about the celebrity guests they had this year. A lot of my favorite voiceover artists were there, like Billy West, E.G. Daily, Gray Delisle, and possibly above all else was Rob Paulsen, one of my voice acting heroes. And Maurice LaMarche was also scheduled to be there, but he had to cancel due to COVID, which is a real shame because if he had been there, I would have gotten a duo pick with Pinky and the Brain. But thankfully he was able to join up with Rob in a Pinky and the Brain Q&A panel remotely via Zoom. So it wasn't a total loss. And in addition to Rob Paulsen, Barry Gordon, Cam Clark, and Townsend Coleman were also there. All four of them were the original voice actors for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series in the 80s. And I was able to get a group picture with them. I mean, how often does one get a group picture with the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, the odds of that are extraordinary! And this Sci-Fi ValleyCon was especially special because it was the event I made the debut of my steampunk Dr. Eggman costume, hopefully to place somewhere in the costume contest. I didn't come close. But in all fairness, there are people that come to these conventions that eat, sleep, and breathe cosplay, so I was up against some pretty stiff competition. Well, that wraps up the top 10 events of my 2022. Did anything extraordinary happen to you this year? Feel free to share with me in the comments below. Until next time, good night and have a happy new year. Oh, I just remembered. If you haven't seen the Roku original movie, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, I highly recommend it. It's practically everything you'd expect in a satirical biopic. I really enjoyed watching it. Oh, and Violent Night? To describe it in 4 words, hilariously gory Yuletide action. #recommend.